Alright, hey guys, it's me here back again with another video, and this is part 2 in tandem of Only Cannot Be Trusted. So the video I made before, I want to address something here when I said about the so called prank Marcel and Wildcat did. Yeah, Marcel was the one to address something in that video. Marcel was the one who came up with it, because from what I've understand, and from Close of Judgment live stream last night, is is not Marcel himself and Wildcat. So alright, so from the understanding of the prank, and those who have seen the videos from TJ and Cruise of Judgment or others, that the prank was meant to Marcel explained that the prank itself wasn't meant to be anything of sexual intent. The prank was to basically, the prank was to have Delirious show his face on camera. That was the intent of what they were doing. Now, the weirdest thing about it though is that keeps, and guys, I'm telling you though, it's pissing me off to the point where himself is still on this tangent of calling Delirious a predator. And again, he brought, and the fact that he mentioned Delirious baby, Delirious got mad, assuming some persons were saying, and Delirious released all of the Discord DMs. And bruh, I am glad was watching Cross of Judgment stream last night, going through some of the twit long stuff, cause bruh, sounds like a damn big baby. Like he sounds like a big baby who's going on a temper tantrum, because you're telling me, and it's so weird to me that the fact that he keeps accusing Delirious of being a predator and all this and all that, because, and he has no evidence to show whatsoever of any of it. He keeps claiming he has evidence. He claims that the police was investigating, the FBI was involved, and some of us were that confused, because I'm like, if the police is involved, if the FBI is involved, then why are you speaking on this matter? You shouldn't be saying anything about this case. You shouldn't even be doing anything. So I'm like, you're claiming that the FBI and the police are investigating Delirious, but you're sitting there telling about you're gonna make an exposed video to prove that Delirious is some monster, all to the point where you keep dragging people into this mess who don't want to be a part of it, because last night was like a cluster mess with because on Cruise of Judgment stream, we were all watching the stream and watching like live, like Lou versus and all of that. Chrissy, versus Chrissy versus Lou, and Lou brought up something interesting too. Then I have to agree with Lou to the point where, why did think it was necessary to get involved into Lou's life? Because Lou was saying he's confused as to how suddenly just inserted himself into his relationship, because almost say, oh, he knows her personally, so he must defend her. And with the Cheyenne thing, and the thing is though, and crew and others, Toy Hunter and others, brought up the fact that alright, so they brought up the fact that so they were essentially wiretapping, recording the conversation of what between not Lou and her. The other one, I don't remember, the third victim. I don't remember the so-called victim, because Lou mentioned on Twitter that it didn't. He said that it didn't make sense to him why she was behaving like that, and he started to see shit, some random shit and all of that, because he suspected something wasn't right. It was then he found out that they were secretly recording. So my point is, and it's really ironic to the point where they're instigating this shit. They're putting this shit out there to make it seem. And I'm like, sure, Lou himself is not an innocent person. He's not a saint. But the fact that they painted in a light where, and and others have painted it into a light where, oh, Lou is just like mini lad, this and when reality, we were all bamboozled, because I'm like, how you didn't even say how it was, and then had the audacity to attack Lou's, bring up Lou's child into this situation. Once again, it kind of proves himself doesn't have a backbone and doesn't know when to stop, because through thick and thin, because Chrissy herself, because last night Chrissy herself replied to it was Cheyenne or someone else on Twitter, saying that she doesn't know the so-called victims, she never was involved, and she doesn't want to get involved in it. And because she basically said to leave her and Scott alone. Was it Scott? Yeah, 470. Because literally, I don't know why is dragging Chrissy into this, saying about manipulating and saying these victims are not. And I'm like, are you psychotic? And one of the worst things about this is that, and I brought this up in the other video, is the fact that has their addresses. It has got me worried. No, I'm gonna bring this up discreetly, that I'm just saying this, and I've said it on the stream, but I'm just saying, I have a feeling that himself is going to attempt to dox Delirious. No, it's something I'm throwing out there. I sent it on the Cruise of Judgment stream. I sent it on TJ's stream because it doesn't make sense to my understanding. I'm like, he has all of their addresses though, which what they brought up in the Cruise of Judgment is that seeing that they all interacted, of course some of them would have their addresses and know where they live. But in a situation like this though, the fact that Om has their addresses leads to my thinking that he's going to attempt to dox Delirious and Wildcat because Om good grief. Because Om seems to have it out for Delirious and Wildcat. But it seems to me that he has it out more for Wildcat. But he's gunning for the throat for Delirious because look at Delirious didn't defend him, all this and I'm like, I'm not sure why Om is bringing up that from that prank Martha and Wildcat did years ago, because I've said this before that Om himself is clutching his breast. How could you? How could you? And he keeps accusing Delirious of CP to the point where I'm like, bro, this is not funny. This is an accusation you have no evidence for. You're making a wild assumption, and then you have impressionable audience who will come to your Twitter handle, to your videos, assume that's true, and then you're gonna send them to attack Delirious. And I'm like, you see what I've learned over the years? And I, as a human being, try to learn from my mistakes. I keep making mistakes, keep saying the wrong things, keep doing the wrong things, keep bringing up old shit that we move past from, all this, all that, keep doing that. I'm sometimes a person who likes to bring up old things. I'm not sure why. Or like sometimes still have a age-old grudge against somebody, which I still do for some people. But I'm not going to go to my way, accuse someone of something that I have no evidence for. I don't have nothing else, no receipts to back that up, nothing else to show it is true or not, because you claimed that the FBI was investigating, the police was investigating. But where is it? Where's the police report? Where is it? Because basically what you're doing, like, if this, alright, like hypothetically speaking, if this was true, then why are you on the internet talking about it? Because I'm sure this will put you and others into trouble just speaking about it though. Because what you're essentially doing is destruct what's the word? The proper word: obstruction of justice, perjury, defamation, false accusation, wasting of government resources, and many other stuff. And I'm like, bro, just stop. Just stop. And he keeps on this tangent and tangent and tangent to the point where I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? Are you really serious right now? Like, really, bro? Really? Really? And then no, to the victims who last night backstabbed Om and say that, oh, they're in support of Chrissy because this was on the Close of Judgment live stream last night. So essentially, what they, because going back to the Lou and the victim thing, the so-called victims, is that essentially, and this is what they were saying from the Close of Judgment live stream and all that they were using Om to get back at Lou again and again to get him into more problems, and Om was using them for his revenge to get at the group. So essentially, it's like that meme where the people are in the church, one has a gun behind the other, the one has another gun behind the other, one has another gun behind, and one has a sniper in the far off corner ready to snipe. So it's all betrayal here, and almost just give up because he's not making this any better because Brian has because he keeps saying this though about because he keeps saying about how Brian knew about the mini situation, and I'm like, Brian literally said on Twitter, because when one of the girls reached out to him, he did not know. It's when he looked into it, that was when he realized that he did not know at the time. So for you to say that Brian knew is contradictory, because Brian said he didn't know. He and Marcel did not know at the time. Marcel Wildcat did not know. When they found out, that was when they said, all right. Because, listen, and I don't know why is still acting like Minnie was still in the group at that time. Because Minnie wasn't in the group. Minnie, and Brian has said this before too. It isn't that they kicked him off. It is just because of this behavior and his toxic ways. So they just said, let's let him go. And they haven't played since because Minnie essentially lied, saying he was kicked out of the group. So now you're taking this, twisting it to your young impressionable fans to the point where a lot of us have to tell you to stop, because you already throwing Keemstar under the bus. We know Keemstar is going to start throwing hands as well, and you're not going to like this. You're not going to like this, because this is not a joke, This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not a YouTube thing. This is real life. This has real life consequences. This has real life lives that can destroy people. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, and I've said this before, and I'm not going to push it on anybody to take this as a fact or anything. It's just I'm throwing it out there that I have a feeling that might dox Wildcat and Delirious, because from what he's been going on about on Twitter, just going off and off and off to the point where I'm like, why do I have the feeling is going to dox Delirious? Because this doesn't feel right. to dox Delirious to prove a point that saying, oh, he's a monster, we must take him down. That's essentially what Om is doing. Om is literally doing his best. He wants to see blood. And something I want to address, and I'm going to address it, that I hope, and probably I hope Mr. Fruit and his friends come together privately, talk it out, and decide to have not in the group anymore. Because I've said this, I think I said this on the video, but I need to say it more here. Because I know for a fact that Mr. Fruit doesn't want to get involved, but here's the thing though too. He somehow is going to get involved into this too, because I'm like, you can have this person who accused Bryce of fat shaming, who accused Delirious of something that's not true, who is accusing Wildcat, Marcel, and others of being toxic, to the point where I'm confused, because you're saying, oh, these people were bullying me, these people were toxic, wah, 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 wah. And I'm so confused because I'm like, you realize this was the height of the internet, right? You realize the height of the internet where you could have said anything back then. You could have done anything. You could have said anything without repercussions. And now it's just a babyfied era where you can't even say the things anymore without getting cancelled. And I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, what essentially is going on? Because, like I said, Mr. Fruit, I wouldn't want to like drag Mr. Fruit in this, but I'm telling you though, they need to put their foot down and kick out permanently, because I know for a fact that is going to do the same thing to Mr. Fruit and his friends. I can feel it in my bones that he's going to do the same exact thing to them. Because remember though, he did the same thing to Markiplier years ago. Because I briefly remember that drama. I don't remember that one. Because I think it was short-lived. He did that to Markiplier. They kicked him out. I think it was another group he did that as well. I don't remember some other group, I'm not sure. They kicked the Vanoss crew, decided that he should be kicked out because he was essentially like a control freak, hard to work with, and also just outright not feeling him. And this is why why no one wants to play with you anymore, why no one wants you in their friends group anymore, because you claimed that, oh, Delirious is my closest friend. No, Cartoons and Delirious are the closest persons ever out of everyone else in their group, because Cartoons and Delirious know each other since childhood. Cartoons have said this on his video years ago. He said this before, that he and Delirious are essentially brothers. So I don't know where you got this idea, that Delirious is your closest friend, because I'm trying to remember what closest or what kind of friend, what kind of person calls someone their friend but accuses them of something that isn't true. So, like, hello? Excuse me? Because I'm sure my opinion no. I am sure my opinion no because because it doesn't make any sense though. It really does not make any sense to anybody. And I did say I was gonna watch out some of these videos, which I am currently on the laptop now, trying to watch out for some of them. And I don't know why. I think some people need to actually look into it more before they start accusing Markiplier again of the same shit was doing. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Hold on.
Jacksepticeye exposed Markiplier. Hey everyone, Wack here, and welcome back to another episode of our childhood flashing before our eyes. And before I start this video, I have something really important to say. The Fitness Gram Beep Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it beep continues.
Oh my god. Did Jack say anything? I don't hear anything. Exactly. I don't understand what everybody where this assumption is coming back from. Like, I don't know where, because guys, and I'm gonna be discreet as possible. When you see channels like these put shit like this out, especially in a point of time right now here, I'm gonna warn you to be careful. No, this no, I could watch out the video more and make a part three of this, which I am going to. I'm going to watch out the certain videos of this because with uncertainties and all of that, it I think it's my thing is I think it's best to watch certain people who has a big footing into this and who can know some of the legal ramifications and who know what they're talking about, because the fact that Ohm said that prison mate Luke is involved as well, which kind of validates that, yeah, Ohm, you're not trustworthy. You're not trustworthy to do this. You're not trustworthy. He's not I'm like, both of you are not trustworthy. So it kind of proves my point that if prison mate Luke is involved, then that means other persons who don't like prison mate Luke are gonna somehow get involved, because I know for a fact that Luke is going to somehow bring up the Peaches thing again. That's a roller coaster I would not go back through. And you know what? I'm gonna make part three. You know what, guys? And just want to address more and more situation. So what I'm gonna do this time is link TJV's channel and Close of Judgment channel in the description. Okay, bye guys.